Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Namaste. Welcome. My name's Keith. This is a therapeutic practice that focuses on your digestion. When stress is high, when anxiety is high, you're probably going to notice some unsettled quality in your gut. You can tell yourself to change your thoughts, to calm your thoughts, to relax. Sometimes that might work. It doesn't always work. So when there is disquiet in your mind, when there's disquiet in your nervous system, and it's coming from external forces, reverse it. Let the belly brain take over, since the cognitive brain is the one that's suffering. So a healthy digestion can lead to a quiet mind. A quiet mind can lead to a healthy digestion as well, but we're going to focus on how to use the digestive fire, stoking the digestive fire, so perhaps there is a health in your gut to help quiet the mind. Take your non-dominant hand and rest it on your belly. Exhale and let your hand come into your body. And then when you breathe in, allow your hand to receive your belly. With your dominant hand, take your ring finger and fold it down into your hand. Cover up with your thumb there so it becomes Agni Mudra. Rest that down on your knee. And then come back to the breath at your hand at your belly. Consciously let your belly fill up when you breathe in. And slowly let the breath leave all on its own. So you're not pulling in. But allow your body to feel a little bit heavier around the exhale. And then begin to add more direction to your exhale. So you pull up and under with the breath out. Creating a sense of hollow. So when I breathe in, there's a real drop of the belly. And when I breathe out, pull into your body, really empty out. And by doing this, you end up giving your organs in your abdominal cavity a bit of a massage. Be with that a few more times. Last two. One more. And then begin to breathe naturally, normally, whatever that means for you. Undo your fingers so that you open up your dominant hand. You can wiggle your fingers a couple times and move your hand off your belly. There'll be two breathing exercises here. The first is a bellows breath, or what's called Bhastrika, and then it turns into more of an Agni breath, or a breath of fire. And there's two parts to this. When it's the Bhastrika, the bellows, it's a pumping, so it moves in and out, the way that your full deep belly breath was just moving, but with more of a tempo to it. And then as it becomes breath of fire, it increases in tempo and decreases in depth. Say that again. When it becomes breath of fire, it increases in tempo and decreases in depth. And that also means that your body will move less. So we'll begin with the pumping and move into the breath of fire. And I'll put my hand up when it's time to begin to increase the tempo and shorten the breath so that you decrease and move less. Okay? Breathe everything out and then begin. So it goes in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Breathe all the way in and all the way out. You can keep your legs crossed this way, or you can change your seat. You're going to stay sitting for another moment. For this one, you're going to be sticking your tongue out. It's called lion's breath. And it's a forceful exhale out of your mouth, and your tongue comes as far out as you can. Take a breath in. Take a break for a moment. Lion's breath is great. It's a little weird, but it's great, right? It moves the belly up and under, which gives the belly a full massage. And your tongue sticking out begins the process of getting more saliva into your mouth. When there's more saliva in your mouth, the digestive enzymes in your mouth are also ramping up. So we'll do a little bit more of that without the lion's breath and just with your tongue to encourage more saliva to build up in your mouth and to get some more of the digestive enzyme flowing. So it looks like this. And you know you're moving into the right place when you get the space underneath your bottom lip pretty wet. Keep going. Stretch it out one last time. And then just notice how much saliva you probably have in your mouth. You also have a lot on your face, so wipe that off. Then start to roll down onto your back. When you get down to your back, keep your knees bent. The soles of your feet can be on the floor, wide, narrow. It doesn't really matter. That's not really your concern. But having your knees bent typically gives you a little bit more softness through your back and your belly. Take one hand into a fist and lay the other hand on top of your belly. And think about laying that kind of like a stone right into the center of your belly. apply a little bit of pressure so that every time you breathe out, it feels like the stone got a little heavier. And because it's heavy, there's a resistance around your breath in. So now you're not able to take a deep breath into your belly. Every time you exhale, pull in a little bit. So really allow your inhale to feel shallow now. Take one more breath like that. Soften some of the pressure, and then begin to make clockwise soft circles on the surface of your belly. And kind of trace the bottom edge of your rib cage. And notice how your breath is moving. So as you're crossing across your lower belly, there's your breath in. As you're moving into the upper belly and down the left side, there's your exhale. Add more pressure through your exhale when you're moving down the left side. And imagine that you're tracing your large and small. And imagine that you're tracing your ascending and your descending colon, as well as the transverse colon. And that's why more of the work is on the left side through your descending colon. It's soft as you go across the lower belly, up the right side, across the top, and then direct into your body, drawing these circles. It's not about force. It's just encouraging the natural movement of your digestion. A few more times. Last couple. And then just relax your arms, relax your hands. Breathe into your belly. And exhale. You might notice some gurgling in your belly there. It's always a wonderful thing to notice when that happens, because that's the digestive acids getting turned up and saying, we're ready to do our work. Bring your heels in close enough to touch the back of them with your fingers. We'll be using bridge. You're using a breath in to come into bridge, exhaling while you're in bridge, lowering down and hollowing out your belly, all without breathing in, so that you hollow out your gut in what's called Uddiyana Bandha. Breathe in and lift your hips up. Exhale out of your mouth. Breathe in and stay here on the floor while you exhale normally out of your nose. And then do that again. Breathe in, lift with your hips. Exhale normally here. Do it 3 more times. Breathe and lift up. Exhale normally. 2 more times. Once more. Breathe in to lift. And then stay here on the floor. And you'll definitely get some more gurgles out of that one. From here, begin to pick up your feet and draw your thighs toward your belly. And just start with interlacing your fingers around your knees. And with the natural weight of your arms, draw your legs in. You can keep it as a finger interlace or holding on to your knees separately if that's better, or begin to clasp a wrist so that you just tighten the embrace a little bit. It doesn't feel aggressive, but it just brings things in closer. And every time you breathe out, sink a little bit deeper. And then you can deepen it again with your elbows coming around your knees, holding on. And it's holding on, it's not pulling. So if it starts to feel like pulling, back off a little bit. It's called Apanasana, or wind relieving pose. That's a real great translation. Or downward flowing energy pose. It's just to encourage just that downward energy in the body. So without that sense of your digestive system being stuck, that what's supposed to go down and leave is encouraged to go down and leave. And just a few breaths with this one. Mainly because it's work for your arms sometimes, or it's taxing for your arms, or it can feel tiring on your arms. So keep it nice and simple. Take 2 more breaths here. And then slowly release. And let your feet drop down to the ground. Fill up your belly, let it expand. And then let it sink. Roll to your side so you can come up to sit. And sit on your heels if that works for you. If it doesn't work for you, you can modify this sitting with your legs stretched out long in front of you. Take your 2 hands, ball them up into a fist, and at first, when you knock your fists together, touch your 2 thumbs together. Bring that right into your belly so that your thumbs feel like they are a little bit higher than where your navel is. Pull in with your own hands so that you lift your belly up and under, and then fold over and bring your head to the ground. Breathe in with that.
And exhale deep into yourself. And when you're down here, every now and again, massage or knead the belly. Do it with the exhale. Goes from lower to higher. A couple more times. And then come on up to sit. Take away your hands. It should feel a little bit like you're doing almost like a Heimlich on yourself. And then when you do it the second time, rather than having your thumbs come together and kiss, make a real fist so that your thumb doubles over. It'll change the sensation against your belly. Roughly the same position, so you draw that in, knuckle in, and as you're exhaling, hook under, pull under, and fold. Massage a little bit while you're here. Notice that you're almost not breathing anymore. It's so shallow. Just a couple more. And then slowly bring yourself up to sit. Exhale everything out. If you have a blanket, if you have a towel, grab that now. Take your blanket. If it's folded, just open it up a couple of times. Smooth out some of the wrinkles. And then roll it. So that you get a skinny bolster kind of shape. And then lay that over your mat, and you're going to put your body down on it. So when it comes across your belly, it comes kind of at the level of your navel, so that you want to make sure that your ribs are hanging over one side, your pelvis is hanging over the other side. And as you get set up, you can use Sphinx arms to find the sweet spot to rest on. Not sure there's really a sweet spot, but... And then once you get into the spot where the blanket is underneath your belly, double up your hands and bring your forehead down. And breathe in this spot. Make any little adjustments there. You can turn it more into resting your chin onto your hands, draping over the blanket so it fits right into your gut. And then we're going to add a little bit of movement so that when you breathe in, you're in the middle. And when you exhale, roll to your right side onto your right waist. Breathe in and then exhale over to the left side. And then keep using that so that you're exhaling while you're rolling across. Empty out, empty, empty. Side to side rolling. Inhale while you're on your side. Exhale across. Inhale on your side. Exhale across. Couple more times in each direction. Inhaling while you're on your right. Inhaling while you're on your left. One more time, inhale on your right. One last time, breathing in on your left. And then settle in the middle. Walk your hands back and press yourself up to all fours and move your blanket off to the side. You're going to come back down onto your belly. And when you're down here, curl under your toes. And that just helps keep you aware of where your pelvis is. Because if your toes are pointed, your pelvis moves a little bit easier. So if your toes are curled under, and pause here, and then come up just high enough to take your left arm across so that you're on your left elbow, and place your right hand on your pelvis. So there's a sense of keeping your pelvis right where it is, and then press into your left elbow and rotate. You can look back at your right foot. So you have this little rotation while you're on your belly, a prone twist. And then release that and change it up so that your right arm goes across and your left hand can press down against your pelvis on the left side a little bit. Press into your right elbow to rotate your upper body and look back over your left shoulder. And then release that. And take it one more time with your left elbow going across. Your right hand on your right hip at the back side. Press down and revolve. Undo. Walk across. Press with your left hand. And revolve. And then undo. And pause in the middle. Take a breath all the way in. And then slowly lower down. You can point your toes behind you. Take your hands right down at your sides, almost like you've got your hands on your hips. Lay your hands down here so that you've got your palms open to the ceiling and your elbows down to the side. And then while you're here, your goal is to hollow out your belly. So you're turning on the muscles of your abdominals, not to make a crunch, but to really cinch your waist. So when I breathe out, I'm going to pull my belly off the floor, enough that I can slide my fingers underneath. I'm just going to keep that there, even while I'm breathing. I can use my elbows on the ground a little bit to encourage it, but I don't want to turn it into an arm thing. Keeping your belly taut, walking under, seeing if there's space. So you really take the muscles of your transverse abdominis and you cinch the body. So those muscles, remember that they have to be alive too to help the function of your digestion. Hold on to it for a couple more moments. Notice if anything else is getting used, neck muscles, leg muscles. Last couple of breaths. And then release. Let everything deflate. And exhale everything out. And then from there you can flip over onto your back. And then as you get down onto your back, scoot your hips over to the right a little bit. Drop your knees over to the left. And take a supine twist. You always want to drop your knees over to the left side first. And rotate your body to the right first. You can think about that as giving room to your ascending colon, so there's space in it. Beginning the process by crimping down a little bit on your left side. Getting the process started on that side so that when you release that side, the left side begins to, for lack of a better word, flow in the direction that you want things to go. Try to breathe into your full point here, even though you're in the twist, and there's not room for that. And then shift it to the other side, so your soles can step flat, knees to the left, or hips to the left rather, and then you can begin to drop your knees over to the right side. Revolving your spine. And then you get more constriction through the right side, more openness in the left. So again, moving in the direction of the ascending and descending colon. So the blood flow is opened up on the left side now, which encourages movement and space. And then when we open the right side up, there'll be space again, so that there's flow encouraging flow, movement encouraging movement. Try not to get into forcing the twist, but really allow your body just to feel like it's receiving the rotation. And it has an effect on your spine for sure, but notice how your belly feels, how your abdominals feel, how the organs at your belly feel. Start to notice what your brain feels like. Where your thoughts are. If there's any difference in your anxiety level. Spend another moment here. And you can bring your left arm over, roll to your right side, and come on up to sit. Once you're up, you can grab your blanket one more time and lay that down in the center of your mat. Once you've got it on your mat, place yourself so that your pelvis is just in front of it. Recline back so that your spine and your head are supported. You can move that around. Soles together so that your knees open up. So it's a subtle back bend happening in your belly. So that encourages length through your belly and it stretches out the organs in there. And then you're going to come back to breathing down to your belly. You're not going to be able to breathe in the way that you did when you were sitting, but imagine your belly expanding comfortably with each breath in. Do nothing extra for the breath out. If your knees and your hips want to have something underneath them for support, feel free to add that. You could also just stretch your legs out long here. It is different though when your soles are together and your hips get to open. It encourages not just the belly to feel free, but your pelvis to feel free. And if the belly and the pelvis feel free at the same time, there's a lot more ease to your digestion. See if you can carve out more space with your breath in. And let this start to take on a resting quality. You really feel and understand that you're not going anywhere else. Soften your expression. So there's no tension in your jaw, so your tongue can really drop into your mouth. Let your breath become a little more shallow for a few rounds. And then you can start to deepen your breath again. Flex your ankles. Press your heels down and turn your feet flat to the floor. Take a breath in. You can use your fingers to massage your hip creases. And then tumble off your blanket over to the side. Come on up to sit. And then just notice what your belly feels like now. When you breathe into your belly, what does it feel like? Does it feel the same as it did when we began this process? Notice what your overall system feels like in this moment. And then bring your hands together. We are one life, we are one light, we are one love. I bow with gratitude to the divine light in you that is the light in me.
Peace be with you. Blessings upon you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.